This is the afternoon weather briefing. This is for Thursday, the 13th of March. This is James Spann. We have a very high-end, major severe weather threat for Alabama in the Deep South Friday night, Saturday, and Saturday night. A lot here to talk about. A whole lot of new data is in, so let's go through everything one step at a time. Typically, we like to start with the current situation. This is where we are right now. This is the upper air look. 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet off the ground. And we have a shortwave trough coming through today. We've had some showers and storms around today. But the big trough, the one that's going to be setting up the severe weather event Friday night through Saturday night, is coming into the West Coast. And again, this is a very progressive pattern. These waves are coming along very quickly. Visible satellite view, we actually have a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Many spots in Alabama not getting a drop of rain today. The showers have been very widely scattered, but where they have formed, in some cases, they have been producing some hail, mostly small hail. That's the radar composite at 245. And again, most of the showers and thunderstorms are down across southeast Alabama, south and east of Montgomery. And again, the only issue today in some cases, mainly small hail. And those storms should be out of the state this evening, and most of the day tomorrow should be dry before we start that major severe weather threat tomorrow night. Pretty comfortable today. Most spots are in the 70s across the state. The warm spot, Mobile, at 78. So in the watch warning map, a lot of stuff going on here, mainly over the western half of the country. We've got wind issues. We've got red flag warnings because of wildfire danger, and a number of winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings for the mountains out west. So this is the severe weather outlook for the rest of today and tonight. There is a very low-end marginal risk of severe storms for the state. And again, this is a very low-end threat. There could be a few storms with small hail, but there's no chance of any tornado activity and really no major concern here. But the big show, if you will, begins tomorrow. Initially north and west of here, we have a moderate risk, which is level 4 of 5 for places like St. Louis, up and down the mighty Mississippi River. The broad risk running from the western Gulf Coast to Wisconsin and Minnesota. And you can see some of the cities involved in this big risk would be Memphis, Little Rock, Kansas City, Des Moines, Chicago, Indianapolis, Nashville. And of course, understand this outlook runs through 7 a.m. Saturday. And where we are, the bulk of this will be late tomorrow night, mainly after midnight. And in Alabama, for this activity, this is round 1. We have a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk north and west of Birmingham, a level 2 risk over to Scottsboro, Prattville, and Jackson, north of Mobile. And again, we're going to go through all the modeling here in just a second. So hang on. And then on day 3, this is the updated outlook just in from SPC. And the broad risk on Saturday runs from the Gulf Coast all the way up to Cleveland and almost Buffalo. And with the new update, the guys at SPC have expanded that level 4 out of 5 risk to include a pretty good chunk of the state. That's the red on this map, a moderate risk. This would include Decatur, Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery, Mobile, Tuscaloosa. And for East Alabama, it's an enhanced risk. And, of course, these levels might change a bit. And the one thing I want to stress here, don't get too hung up in these colors and categories at this point. Just understand that there is going to be a very significant risk of severe storms statewide. No matter what color you see, no matter what level you're in, this is the probabilistic outlook for severe weather Saturday. And again, this is really for round 2. This is for the activity Saturday afternoon and Saturday night. And you can see that the entire state is an hatched area. And that hatched area means there could be significant severe weather, as in violent long-track tornadoes and storms with very, very strong damaging straight-line winds. And if you look at the probabilities here, the numbers are very, very high. The chance of severe weather, meaningful severe weather, within 25 miles of a given point is 45 to 59%, basically 50-50. And that is very high. And we'll go through the modeling here in just a second. We're getting all the new high-resolution models in the house. In terms of rain with this, rain amounts should be in the 2 to 3 inch range for the northern half of the state, 1 to 2 inches for South Alabama. So before we get into the severe weather situation, really quickly, tonight we have a total lunar eclipse. And the totality will come after midnight for Birmingham and much of the Deep South from roughly 1 until 2 a.m., 1 until 2:30 a.m. And this is a look at the total cloud cover. And obviously, you want to be in the blue here. That's where the sky should be mostly fair. The white, that's where the sky should be mostly cloudy. And the numbers represent the percentage of the sky that's covered by clouds. And I'll just say the models have waffled back and forth on this, just like a fish out of water. But on the latest run of the HRRR here, this is the high-resolution rapid refresh, this is suggesting just maybe we'll have a chance to see the eclipse from Birmingham north. South Alabama, chances are lower. But if by chance you're up late tonight, look up total lunar eclipse. So here we go. This is tomorrow coming off the GFS, the 12Z run, valid at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. You can see that very intense trough going negative tilt out across the heartland. A very intense surface low is sitting on the Kansas-Nebraska border, 975 millibars. And needless to say, we'll have just a screaming wind field around that, gradient winds. North and west of that low, heavy snow, maybe blizzard conditions. South and east of the surface low, severe storms break out. And then Saturday, the main surface low moves up toward Canada. A secondary low forms near Memphis, under 1,000 millibars. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. So let's start with round one. So this is after midnight tomorrow night. This is 3 a.m. Saturday, middle of the night tomorrow night. And you can see convection starting to flare. And it sure looks like it's going to be a case where there's not necessarily a big stratophore rain mass, but more discrete thunderstorms, and those could go tornadic. Again, this is the middle of the night tomorrow night, 3 a.m. Saturday. And then this is 7 a.m. Saturday. We're back on daylight saving time, 7 a.m. Saturday. And again, you see showers and storms mainly over the northern half of the state. And again, those could be severe. Let's look at the STP. This is the significant tornado parameter, valid Saturday morning at 7 o'clock. And the numbers are somewhat elevated. So there certainly could be some tornado activity involved in round one after midnight tomorrow night into early Saturday morning. Especially west of I-65. Now, if you're east of I-65, Anniston, Gadsden, Auburn, Opelika, Dothan, Center, Leesburg, Scottsboro, with round one, this will probably not affect you that much. The main issue is over the western half of the state with round one. So then round two will come later in the day. This is Saturday evening at 7 o'clock. And we have a line of storms coming into northwest Alabama. In advance of that, potential for these discrete supercells. And will the air be unstable? Yes. Instability values over 1,000 joules per kilogram in most places. And this is pretty disturbing here. This is the STP, valid Saturday evening at 7 o'clock. And this thing is peaking at 15.5 units. Typically, for a big tornado event, the STP is running at 5, 6, 7 units. But those numbers are just sky high. And again, this is a composite index that takes into account a number of parameters needed for tornado formation. So obviously, with STP numbers like that, you have to be concerned about the possibility of a few violent, long-track tornadoes. And again, I don't like to use that verbiage unless I really mean it. And we really mean it at this point. So once again, to kind of summarize, we have 2 rounds of severe storms in the cards here. The first round, I've got 10 o'clock Friday. That's when the risk begins to open up over the northwestern corner of the state. For most of the state, the window for round one, about midnight until 8 a.m. Saturday. The main concern, the western half of the state. There could be a few tornadoes involved. And again, this is a middle of the night thing, so you've got to be able to hear warnings in the middle of the night. And that preferably is a NOAA weather radio, not your phone. That thing goes in sleep and do not disturb mode, and many people get no notifications at night. A weather radio does not do that. It will wake you up. But the second round, that's the big show, the big event, from noon Saturday until 3 a.m. Sunday. And I know that's a big, long window. And we might be able to narrow that down tomorrow, but for that entire time, that 15-hour window, we have to be really, really watchful of what's going on here. Storms, obviously, with the possibility of producing very large hail, damaging straight-line winds, and again, with round two, the chance of a few upper-end, violent, long-track tornadoes. And obviously, the screaming message here for everybody is to be sure you can hear the warnings throughout this whole event. And we have a really, really big problem here with siren dependency. That's killed more people than anything else on my watch, and we've got to stop that. I know it makes some people mad, but at this point, I don't care if I make somebody mad. We're here to mitigate loss of life. And if you think you're going to hear a siren when you're sound asleep that's 5 miles away, we can't help you. You've got to have that weather radio. And again, if you don't, be sure on your phone the Do Not Disturb feature is turned off. And be sure that emergency alerts are enabled. That's that loud tone out that you get. Not from an app, that's directly from your phone. So that's part one. And part two is having a plan. And of course, know the safe place in your house. And in that safe place, you will have helmets for everybody. Most of the time, the really serious injuries are due to blunt force trauma. And by putting on a simple bicycle helmet, a batting helmet, if you have sports, a football helmet, that really makes you safe. The survivability goes way up with a helmet. And this is not just for kids. This is for adults. Every human life is precious, and even for older people. Helmets for everybody. We like for people to have hard-soled shoes on in case you have to walk over a tornado debris field. A little portable air horn is good in case you need help and you're injured and you can't verbalize your need for help. And the other big thing, of course, is this. If you live in a manufactured home, a trailer, you can't stay there. It's a death trap during a tornado. You've got to get out if you're in a polygon. And again, we have to do better for people that live in manufactured housing because the average lead time for a tornado warning is about 12 minutes. And for a lot of people, they need more time than that. But still, you've got to know the location of the nearest shelter or business that can serve as a shelter that's open 24/7. Know how to get there quickly and have transportation arranged, whether it's the middle of the night or middle of the day. And again, we'll get through this thing okay. These type events don't happen every year. They happen every few years. And of course, again, everybody's asking, is this going to be upgraded to a high risk? And it probably will, but at this point, it doesn't matter. Just understand it's going to be a very upper end risk for all of the state. And again, we've got those two windows, the window late tomorrow night, early Saturday morning. And again, there could be a few tornadoes with that. I don't want to just skip past that. But again, that's mainly for the western half of the state. And then the big round of severe storms, noon Saturday until 3 a.m. Sunday, where we could see those violent long track tornadoes. And again, just be sure and if you watch these videos, you're into this. Most people don't. And I'm not faulting them. Everybody's busy. But just let them know that Saturday's going to be a very rough day. They've got to be able to hear warnings. And again, you can be a hero in this process. You're the greatest asset we have. People like you that pay attention. If you know anybody in a polygon, a friend, a relative, loved one, somebody, call them, text them, let them know. And the other thing we'd recommend to do is to go ahead and subscribe now to the YouTube channels. You might be watching this on YouTube. This is the James Spann YouTube channel, but subscribe to that one and the ABC 3340 YouTube channel. That's where we'll stream it when we're on locally here. And for out-of-market coverage, when we can, we'll be on the James Spann YouTube channel. All right, so Sunday, it's all out of here, gone. Gradual clearing, highs in the 60s. Monday, we're dry. Tuesday, we're dry. The next system coming in here Wednesday of next week. And that really doesn't look like a severe weather event at this point. But again, once we get past this weekend event, we'll focus on that. And then a week from today, this is Thursday, March 20th, trough moving on to the east, and we are back in dry and cooler air. We might get down there in down toward the freezing mark, maybe by the end of next week. Let's go out 10 days. This is Sunday, March 23rd. A little shortwave over the middle Atlantic coast, new trough in the western states, and we're in between all of that, and we're dry. This is rain for Birmingham coming off the European ensemble. The mean, it's up there about 3 inches between now and the 28th of March. Temperatures coming off the national blend of models. 70s tomorrow and Saturday, 60s Sunday and Monday. And again, notice Friday morning of next week, Birmingham has 38. We might see a few colder pockets getting down there toward the freezing mark, but then we bounce right back in the 70s by the weekend of the 22nd and 23rd. And you know what? I've been so busy today, I've not had a chance to pull the new extended guidance in. So let's look at that real quick. And it is in. So this is going to be the 8 to 14-day guidance for March 21st through March 27th. And temperatures near, maybe slightly above average if this works out. Quick shout out today. We got to roll some Children's of Alabama Kid Cam. Yeah. I was at Pleasant Grove Elementary today in Cleburne County, East Alabama. Had the whole school in the gym. And obviously with the high impact event coming up, we talked about storms and safety. And hey, they can find their house on a map. Those cupcakes are in the shape of Cleburne County. That was outstanding. Absolutely love that. We have a real geography literacy problem, and that's good. But they were great today. So again, all these kids at Pleasant Grove Elementary School in Cleburne County, Hollis Crossroads. Thanks a lot for a great visit earlier today. You guys are looking good. So a few more logistical notes here. Again, if you're new, I do these videos during the week, twice a day on a regular basis at about 5:15 a.m. and 2:45 in the afternoon. And, of course, we'll be back with these here tomorrow. And we'll start long-form coverage, obviously. Whenever we have tornado warnings, we go on and we stay on. And that's the plan. And it's going to be a very long-duration event. We'll have that first round tomorrow night into early Saturday morning, and then round two. And one thing about it, when we go into the long-form coverage, when you see me and the radars behind me, we got tornado warning polygons left and right, and everything's happening, I don't have time to give individual briefings. I don't have time to do a lot of the things I would normally do. Everything, every CPU cycle in my brain has to be focused on doing the long-form coverage. Because the amount of things I'm seeing, it's staggering, and you've got to be right at the top of your game to do that and tell a coherent story. And I just can't give into individual briefings. After we're on the air for 6-7 hours, I'll probably have 5,000 messages from people wanting individual briefings. So just the key is to watch the coverage, and we'll do our best to address all your questions and concerns as we go. But understand this will affect all of Alabama and all of the Deep South. In fact, one more time, let's just kind of go through these maps. This is for round one, late tomorrow night into early Saturday morning. And you can see we have that enhanced risk north and west of Birmingham, the main concern, West Alabama. And then for round two, Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, the whole state, in a very upper end risk here. Level 4 out of 5 now for much of the state. And expanding this out, you can see that the risk runs from the Gulf Coast all the way up to Cleveland, Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Louisville. Somebody was asking, where do I go to get away from this stuff? Well, you'd have to go to Dallas, Fort Worth, in a situation like this to get away from it. And we don't tell anybody to evacuate. That doesn't make a lot of sense for a tornado threat. This is March. This is when this stuff happens. Just get the warnings, know how to get them reliably. Never, ever, ever, ever a siren. Have a plan, and we'll be fine. I promise we'll get through this thing together. But we've got to pay attention, all of us. So that's going to wrap it up. We'll not be doing a school program tomorrow as we're doing severe weather prep. So, and no book signing, obviously, on Saturday. But we do invite you to watch us, on television right across the hall. Studio A, ABC 3340 News this evening at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.